We are live.
Hello, how is everybody?
How come the music is still playing? Okay, there it goes.
So, let's see. I should figure out some way to put this into the uh into the live show. I mean, I'm sorry, into the audio, but I decided that the best way to watch the shuttle launch, the opening of the hatch into the ISS was sitting inside my Tesla looking at the screen playing YouTube with NASA TV.
Are you mixing your Elon Musk metaphors?
I am. Uh, just added that up. Sorry, I'm not doing roll call yet. I'm finishing writing something I meant to write. Uh, okay, there, you should have been entertaining people, Steve, while I was doing that.
Oh, well, I assume everyone saw the. Yeah, that is a cool shirt. Apollo 11 vintage. And in honor of the rocket that took our two astronauts up recently, the Falcon 9 logo. So we got our bases covered before and current.
Oh, we had to have a little NASA,
Retro.
little NASA, little SpaceX.
What we need
I
is
don't
the.
have any SpaceX shirts, you know.
Oh, oh,
Why is that?
that's a subtle hint. Your birthday's coming up in a little more than 11 months.
Yeah, I really timed this stuff wrong.
Yeah, well,
All right, there you go.
Mother's
Let's see
Day.
if it'll.
No,
What's that?
well, we missed that too.
Nuts. I can't
Father's
upload the
Day.
video either. Yes, you could get it for me for Father's Day.
Yes, inverse gift.
All right, maybe I'll get it. I'll do this instead. It won't let me put the video up because it's too big. But there was my view watching the right beforehand as they were right before they walked through.
Pretty cool.
All right, time for roll call. We've got Brett and Jason and Mike and Rick and Sandy and Michael. And coming in the sidebar, we've got Brett. Did I already say Brett? Brett's in there twice. I've never understood why he's in there twice. And Ed Tobias is joining us tonight.
Yes,
and we got
welcome.
NASA Nut, NASA Nut, John, and we've got Rose. And let's see, there's Mike Price again. There's Rick again. I see Vec in the sidebar, and someone named Vec joined the Slack community. So I don't know who Vec is, but hello, Vec. And Frank, of course, rolling into the rear position with Starman sitting next to you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was a little bit of a show off thing to do that, but it was still kind of fun. You have two of me to deal with tonight. All right, Kevin Wingman sent his regrets. He is exhausted. He had to actually go into work and pack boxes up because his office area is being remodeled, so he's exhausted. And let's see, I think I said before the show started that before pre-show that Jill put in her excuse as well. She's having a fire pit social distancing party, so that's
Sounds good.
yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
All right, I have tested playback, Steve. So I think I am. You're sniffing a lot tonight, darling.
Yeah, I got
Right
a
into that
little
mic.
runny nose.
You got a little bit of a mute button there too, do you?
I do. Watch this.
Oh, look. We don't have to listen to you sniff. Oh, sounds like the pits. Oh, nice, John. That's good. Is that because drunk Nick Nolte isn't here? You had to pick up the slack without him? Where is he anyway? All right, I think it is time to get started. The show recorded time will be nothing like last time. That was a little high effort last week. Yeah, I'm just doing 2 articles and then we got Bart, so we are good this week. All right, I'm going to mute Steve. And it worked. Wonder why it's working. We should tell them that it's working. Oh, wait a minute. Say something, Steve. Oh, no, it isn't. It's just faking that it's working. You are not muted. Oh, maybe that's what's wrong. I got to switch back. Okay, let me turn off Discord. That's
yes,
what's wrong.
you need to switch back.
Okay, hang on. There. Okay, I can't hear you there. Now talk to me. No, talk to me.
I am. I'm talking right now. I'm
Oh,
muted.
but I have Mimo Live turned way down.
Now I'm
Hang on.
unmuted.
Hang on. I got to bring you back up. Okay, hello.
Hello.
Okay, good. So I can hear Steve and I can mute him. Perfect. All's right with the world. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, May 31st, 2020, and this is show number 786. Well, how fun was the Crew Dragon launch this week from that combination effort between SpaceX and NASA? I really had a great time watching that. Steve and I were glued to the screens, and I got to confess, I actually cried when that rocket took off. That was really emotional. Anyway, then I decided the perfect place to watch the hatch open on the ISS by the guys Bob and Doug coming out of the Crew Dragon was on the screen in my Tesla via YouTube watching the NASA feed. Figured I'd pull in everything Elon and NASA all together into one place. But congratulations to everyone at SpaceX and NASA. That was really, really cool. We do have John, also known as NASA Nut, who works at NASA in the live chat. So tip of the hat to any efforts you have in that NASA arena. Well, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This week's installment of Programming by Stealth was pretty rough for me. It builds on the foundation Bart laid in PBS 95, where he introduced JavaScript getters and setters. And it was pretty clear that this previous lesson had not sunk in for me yet. I'm definitely going to have to go back and study PBS 95 a couple more times, maybe get some practice in on doing this getter setter concept before that penny is going to drop for me. But hopefully you understood it better than I did on that first time through. In any case, in PBS 97, we extend that knowledge to learning about class data attributes and functions. We'll learn the static nomenclature, which is used to mark attributes and functions as belonging to the class rather than the instances of a class. Bart spends most of the lesson on a worked example using emoji to create what he playfully calls a nerd-touche as a head nod to the cartouche used by Egyptian pharaohs. And yes, he manages to work the poop emoji into this lesson. You can find this week's episode of Programming by Stealth in your podcatcher of choice, or listen over at the link in the show notes, where you can also find a link to Bart's full tutorial show notes. All right. That was tough, guys.
Yeah.
I know you've heard me a lot lately talking about how much fun I'm having. I was not having fun in that one. That was rough. But
you learned something.
I don't know.
you learned how rough an episode could be.
Yeah. But I think I knew that before. Let me get in the right link here. No. Put that here. Yeah, it was a struggle. Sometimes when I don't get a chance to practice the stuff that he's taught us, it's a little harder. So that was a tough one. All right. And now we're going to do a chapter mark. Oh, good. I wonder if I can show you guys this. Hang on. Oh yeah, who's taking over for Kevin tonight?
Oh, Kevin made it. He just showed up.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah. Good. He rallied. He can't stay away from us. All right. I've got show and tell for tonight's demo here. It's diamond in the rough. Let's see if you can see it. Let's see. Can you see the cracks in that?
Spider web on that thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold it so it's over my hair. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Wait, that way. Down, up. Yep, anyway,
we see
that would have been my screen.
Success story. Those are always nice.
Yeah, I think so. Do you want one of these, Steve? I was going to ask you that.
Well, I've never had a screen issue before, but...
Yes, you have. The first iPhone you ever got, you dropped it within like a week. It was a work issued one, and you chipped the corner of the glass.
Yeah, that one.
The first one.
Do you think that would protect corners?
I don't know. But You can't say you've never had a cracked
Sandy
screen.
points out now that I have grandchildren, I might want to reconsider.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, she does have a point.
All right. There it is. Okay, here we go. Muting Steve. At CES in January, I interviewed Aaron Karamechi from Diamond Dog, the company that makes the tempered glass screen protectors with patented diamond-clad, diamond-like carbon coating technology. Well, I challenged Aaron to convince me that I would like having any screen protector on my phone. The main point of his demonstration was the indestructibility of the Diamond Dog tempered glass. Aaron gave me a big screw with a super sharp tip on it, and I tried as hard as I could to get a gouge on a phone with a Diamond Dog screen protector, but I failed. I did have to acknowledge that it would provide some amazing protection, but I still didn't want it on my phone. You see, to me, screen protectors remind me of how in the 1950s, homemakers everywhere would put plastic covers over their furniture so that they'd stay nice. Sure, they'd be nice for the next person, or maybe for company if we were really lucky, but all the rest of the time, the furniture looked terrible and it was uncomfortable. Screen protectors seem like the same thing to me. You put a screen protector on so that the next person who owns your phone gets a nice, pristine glass screen on the phone when you sell it to them. But the whole time you have it, it looks terrible. In the old days, screen protectors were made of plastic. They got scarred up quickly and they always had bubbles under the screen. I don't mean sometimes, I mean always, always, always had bubbles under the screen. On top of that, they were kind of sticky feeling, so your finger didn't slide like it was on the original glass. I've also seen a lot of people with cracked screen protectors on their phones, and I could never understand why you walk around with a cracked screen protector. That's stupid. Well, Aaron insisted that the Diamond Dog screen protectors were different. He gave me a free one, and he challenged me to try it out. I like free stuff as well as the next person, so I took it, but I knew I wouldn't like it. I brought it home and I considered putting it on my phone, but I just couldn't get myself to put it on. I was torn because even if it would protect my phone, I was sure that when I put it on, I'd get a big, stupid bubble under it and I would hate it. Well, in February, Dave Hamilton came to our house for a visit. I'd heard Dave on the Mac Geek Gab say that he was a huge believer in glass screen protectors. He said he buys lots of them. He keeps them in stock at his house and he puts them on friends' phones when they come over. I asked Dave if he would put the Diamond Dog on my phone for me, and he readily agreed. Now, I don't know about other screen protectors and how fancy their installation is, but the Diamond Dog came with several things to make it easier to have a good application experience. They gave you a nice little wet wipe and a dry one, and a little sticky thing for picking any remaining lint off of the screen. It even came with a little frame to put over your phone so that you were sure to align the screen protector properly with no effort at all. Now, Dave is a wild man. He didn't even read the instructions before he did all of those things. In a few seconds, he had applied the Diamond Dog to my screen. Now, before I tell you what I thought of the Diamond Dog, let's set the criteria for a successful screen protector in my mind. I would suggest the following. First of all, doesn't feel creepy or annoying, feels like the original glass. Second of all, no bubbles under that screen. Number three, screen responds as though you're on the original glass. Like it feels like you're on the original glass. It also has to not look bad. It can't get scratches, it can't be milky looking, and it can't have noticeable edges. And finally, it actually protects the phone when something bad happens. After Dave applied the Diamond Dog to my phone, I was immediately disappointed. There were several tiny little bubbles under the screen. Dave said not to worry about it. He said just rub it a little bit and they would eventually disappear. I was dubious about this, but after a little bit of work, I was able to get them to vanish. Now, once I was over the bubble fiasco, I could focus on the feel of the Diamond Dog. I have to confess that it felt like the original glass. I could absolutely detect no difference. I didn't notice any weird stickiness that I had noticed with the old screen protectors that I had seen in the past. The one thing that bothered me was that at the bottom edge of the phone where you swipe to go up to the home screen, I could feel the edge of the tempered glass. For the first day or two, it was super noticeable. And then I don't know what happened, but somehow I completely stopped noticing it at all. In fact, I pretty much forgot that I had a screen protector on my phone. The phone was just as responsive as with the original glass of my phone. For 13 months, I kept the Diamond Dog on my phone, and that patented tempered glass looked as pristine as the day Dave applied it. Now you can hear the minor chords swelling in the background, can't you? Dun dun dun, here it comes. Well, in late May, we went to Lindsay's house to see our grandchildren. The climate is quite warm, even in springtime, and we love to hang out in and around her pool. I like to keep my phone nearby in case an adorable moment with my grandson breaks out. However, since it's so hot out, a phone left out in the sun will do that thing where it shuts itself down because it overheats. The poor thing doesn't have a chance with that black screen absorbing all that heat. My phone has a white back and it's in a clear rubbery case with a ledge around the glass. So I thought maybe I'll just put it face down on the concrete and then it would stay cool. Well, the good news is I was right. The phone did not overheat. The bad news is that I evidently put the phone down on top of a tiny rock, or maybe there was a little bit of concrete sticking up and my screen got cracked. But of course, it did not actually crack my phone screen, it cracked the Diamond Dog instead. And while we don't know for sure that my real screen would have cracked as badly as the Diamond Dog, looking at the big chip out of it where I set it on the rock, I'm 90% certain that I would have at least taken a chunk out of the real screen on my phone. I'm sure somebody here is saying, well, wait a minute, you couldn't gouge it with that screw. Why did this rock crack it? Well, you know what? I'm okay with that because I saved the screen on my phone. Now, do you remember earlier how I mocked people who walk around with cracked screen protectors on their phones? I have to confess, I did not take the cracked Diamond Dog off until I purchased a new one. It looked awful with 4 crack lines and this big chip out of it, but I was convinced that if I took it off, I'd do something else stupid and break my real screen. I've had iPhones since they came out. I've never had a screen protector on, but once that thing got cracked, I knew that I had to get another one on there. Well, after I received the new Diamond Dog, I was afraid to put it on without Dave Hamilton. I was sure I would do it wrong. What if I got a bubble under the screen? What if I put it on crooked? Well, after a couple of days, I finally got my nerve up to give it a go. I removed the old protector by prying it up on the corner, and the whole thing lifted off in one nice piece. I was relieved to see that the iPhone screen underneath was as pristine as the day I bought it. It was super clean too, with no fingerprints or lint. Being obsessive by nature, I cleaned it anyway with a wet wipe and I dried it with a dry wipe. I placed the plastic frame around the phone, which to be honest really doesn't clip on like they say it does, but it just sort of rests on the phone, but it does align the screen properly. I put the screen protector down in the middle first, like they said, and then I pushed out to the edges as the manual instructed. And I got a giant bubble in the middle of the screen. Not tiny bubbles, not tiny movable bubbles like when Dave did it. One that when you pushed on it, it compressed into a series of smaller bubbles and then it came back as soon as I stopped rubbing it. It was super noticeable. Well, after a few hours of pretending I could get past it and leave it there, I realized that I had to try to fix it. I gently pried up the corner so just the top half was not stuck to the screen, and I slowly pushed it down from the middle to the top again. I was finally able to get rid of that huge bubble. Now, there still were a couple of little tiny bubbles on the screen, but I'm definitely not going to try to fix those. They're so tiny. I can still see one. It's been a couple of days. I should rub it some more. Anyway, I did then notice that somehow while prying it up on the corner, a tiny bit of lint crept into that corner. I'm trying to decide whether it bugs me enough to try to lift it up again and delint it with that sticky thing, or maybe I should just cut my losses and let it be. Where's Dave Hamilton when you need him? Well, the bottom line is that I'm a 100% believer in the Diamond Dog tempered glass screen protectors for your phones. I really never thought I could be sold on a screen protector, but this $30 protector saved my phone. The proof, I believe, is not that I liked the free one they gave me, it's that after the damage, I bought one with my own money. The Diamond Dog tempered glass screen protectors are available from mydiamonddog.com for all sizes of iPhones 11, 10, 10R, and 10S, and the Google Pixel 3 and 4 XLs, as well as the Samsung Galaxy S10, 10 Plus, and Note Plus. Now, I'll acknowledge they're not cheap at $30, but I'm a believer in the quality after it saved my phone. I do want to mention, I told you Dave buys them by the bushel and keeps them to give out to his friends. He says he just buys the inexpensive glass ones you can find on Amazon. I think he said he pays around $10 for them. So maybe you want to go that route. But I'm sticking with my Diamond Dog.
Sounds like you're sold.
There's a public safety alert. Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
got it.
nice.
Citywide
Yeah.
curfew.
Yep.
6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yep. I was wondering why it went off because I thought I had everything on vibrate and quiet and everything.
Those come through.
Yeah, they do.
It's like a.
I was holding it in my hand too. I was like, why is it vibrating? You see
Yeah.
me with it under the table.
Yep.
So anyway, they've got them for the watches. See, now I want one for my watch. I never used to get scratches on my watch until I got my eyes fixed.
It's amazing how that correlates.
It does. I mean, I remember
Who would think?
Pat was always trying to convince me that there was this crack in her screen. And I was like, no, there isn't, Pat. You're hallucinating it. And I got my eyes fixed and then I could see it.
So let me ask.
Messages.
We're getting a
What's that?
bunch of messages from our our Wednesday wine chat group. Are you getting those, or are you successfully?
Well, I happen to have lifted it up to look at the other one, and so it did come in. So yeah, curfew in LA County. Oh, it's 6 p.m. curfew.
6 p.m.
Yikes.
to 6 a.m. Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, our buddy Ron wrote back, the joke's on them. They think I'm going somewhere. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is supposed to be not glass though, pod feet. Oh, okay. Wednesday wine group.
That's wine without an H, John.
Steve, would you grab that URL from Mike Price there for the watches? I'd be curious to look at those.
All right.
Keep your face away from your watch.
Do you want me to just store it for you to look at later?
Yeah, just afterwards, because if I click it, it's going to launch Safari, and I've got enough apps running. I need to not do
Nice.
a 6-pack.
Mm-hmm.
Are they cheap?
Well, this is $8.95 for 6 of them.
Holy cow! Oh, look at that logo. Did you just make that, or does that already exist? Grab that GIF. Oh, it's a GIF. Oh my gosh, I need that.
Oh yeah. Can we get the link to that? Let's see.
Copy message link.
Copy link. Yeah.
Is it going to be a link to Discord?
No, I think it's the link to the GIF.
Or why do you think that?
Well, let me try.
Let me see.
Yep, it works.
No, it's cdn.discordapp.com.
But it works. It refers to Discord, but it works in other, works in a browser.
Okay. Well, save that for me too. Please. Okay. All right. So now I need another chapter mark. What am I doing next? I think I am doing, that was Diamond Dog. I'm doing, this is going to be great. You guys are going to love this. This is one of the first articles I've done in a long time that I believe 98% of the people listening will get something out of it. I try to make sure my tips are so obscure that they don't apply to hardly anybody. Dudley gave us the direct link to it on Jiffy.
Good. Would you rather have that one?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Copy.
All right.
Copy.
It's not going to be many chapter marks this time. But, okay. I think Sandy already read this one. Got the link through GIF wrapped. What is that?
Like GIF wrapped? Without the T?
Yes. Okay. Okay, this is it. Here we go. All right. Get to the top. Using Steve. I take a lot of screenshots on my Mac, iPhones, and iPads. I use it to teach people how to use tools and to show developers where I have a question about their applications. I've reviewed a plethora of methods to take screenshots on macOS as a result. I think I take as many screenshots with my iPhone and iPad as I do my Mac. If I'm reviewing an iOS app for the podcast and blog, I take a ton of screenshots to make sure I remember exactly the steps I followed to set it up so I can refer back to them when I'm writing the article and so I can show you screenshots of what things look like. I take screenshots of all sorts of other random things too, just to help me remember something I was viewing. I just checked and I have 3,135 screenshots so far. I mean, seriously, there's not one, but two screenshots of a toilet seat I was thinking of buying and didn't actually buy. Well, Apple added two cool features to screenshots in the last few years that have made the obsessive screenshotter's image library more manageable. In the Photos app, there's an auto generated album for screenshots now. That's cool because it gives you an opportunity to view just your screenshots and maybe delete the ones of the toilet seat. That's also how I know I have 3,135 of them. The second feature is even more helpful to people like me who are clearly incapable of keeping their screenshots under control. In a recent update, somewhere in iOS 13, I don't know when it was. I thought it was right now, just recently, but apparently it's been around for a little while. After you take a screenshot, you're able to annotate. Actually, no, that's not right. Wrong spot to say that. Let me see. The second feature, yeah, I'm going to need that language later. Ah. The second feature is even more helpful to people like me who are clearly incapable of keeping their screenshots under control. In a recent update, I think it was iOS 13, after you take a screenshot, you're able to annotate it and send it to someone or save it to files. And then when you tap done, you're given the option of deleting or saving the screenshot to photos. This has helped me immensely. It hasn't entirely saved me, of course, but it's probably cut my saved screenshots down by 70%. Now, all of this walk down memory lane was just laying the groundwork for Apple's latest advancements in screenshots on iOS and iPadOS. They've added the ability to screenshot long form content. Now, I thought this was an enhancement with iOS 13.5 because I had never seen it before, but I fired up an old iPhone and it's been here at least as far back as 13.4.1. I don't know if it was with iOS 13 or when. I've asked a bunch of people, and most people I've showed this to went, I never saw that. Anyway, I figured if I didn't notice it, and we've established that I take a lot of screenshot snapshots, maybe you haven't noticed this either. The easiest way to explain what I mean by long form content snapshots is to use an example. Open Safari to any web page, preferably a long form blog post on podfeet.com. Might I suggest the one about Scylla the sea monster, or perhaps the one about the shelf of abandoned hardware? They're nice and long. Anyway, take a screenshot. If you're on a device with Face ID, hold down the power and up buttons at the same time to take a screenshot. If you're on a Touch ID device, it's power and the home button. All right, so once you've got your screenshot, tap on the screenshot thumbnail in the bottom left to open it up in markup. When it opens, you'll see two new tabs at the top. The first says Screen, and you'll see the screenshot you just took below that. The screenshot will have the familiar handles on the four corners and four sides, inviting you to tighten up the screenshot to just what you want. But the second tab says Full Page. You'll see the same screenshot, but the handles to crop the image are gone. More importantly, on the right side of the image, you'll see the entire web page as a thumbnail with the first page highlighted. You could drag the highlight up and down to view the entire document. In the upper right is a little crop symbol, and if you tap that, you'll see the entire web page in the middle of the screen, now with crop handles. This allows you to still capture long form content and yet crop to just the portion of that web page or whatever it was that you wanted. There's a cancel button in this cropping view that gets you back to the original full page view. On iPad OS, but not iOS, at the top right in both the screen and full page views, you now have a slider that changes the opacity of the image. I'm not 100% sure what function that provides, but I'll keep experimenting on different pages and see if I can figure out a problem this solves. I hope to also figure out why it's only on iPad OS and not on iOS. You've always been able to delete a screenshot by hitting the done button in the upper left and then tapping on delete screenshots, but they've made it a bit easier now. There's a trash can in the upper right inviting you to toss it away. But there's another reason for that little trash can. I'm not entirely sure why this is possible, but when you're looking at a screenshot, as we've been describing in markup, you can screenshot that page. I know this is kind of meta, right? You take a screenshot of a screenshot that's inside. It's very confusing, but stick with me here. When you take a screenshot of the screenshot page, it puts the new shot to the right of the first one you created. Of course, the new shot is slightly different because now that one captured the markup tools that are on screen and the thumbnail down the side and the trash can and all of that. Ooh, I should have taken a screenshot of that. Anyway, you can keep taking screenshots and they keep stacking up to the right. So you've got access to those. On the iPhone only, as you take more shots of the same page, you'll see little dots below the screenshot shown to indicate that you can swipe to see the other shots. Now, the way I like to swipe is swipe right across the middle of the screen because you will be dragging a red crayon across the middle of your image. Then you have to go find the undo arrow button and only then swipe in the correct area. I do this every single time. All right. But now taking screenshots of a screenshot is a goofy thing to do. So let's use this functionality for a real use case. When you take a normal screenshot, for a short time, the shot rests as a thumbnail in the bottom left of your screen. It turns out you can keep taking screenshots one after another, and they stack up there in the bottom left. So try this as an example. Let's say you're trying to teach somebody how to modify the keyboard settings on an iPad. Open up settings and drill down into the menus and just keep taking screenshots as you drill down. When you're done, you'll have a stack of thumbnails in the bottom left. And if you tap on it right away, you'll get them all side by side in the markup utility. Don't delay on tapping them though, or they whoosh into your photos library. Now you have all of the screenshots side by side in the markup utility, and you can mark them up and maybe mail them to someone as a quick little tutorial. In the upper right, there's the familiar share box with that upwards arrow. When you select it, you have the option to save or share all of the snapshots you've taken. So it will say 3 images at the top if you've got your original plus 2 more, like I used for this demonstration. You can save all of your screenshots to either files or photos, but the long form screenshot can only be saved to files because those are actually beautiful PDFs. And they're not just PDFs, they're searchable PDFs. Isn't that awesome? Now, I want to circle back on screenshotting of long form content. I started with Safari, but it works in some other Apple apps as well. When you take a screenshot in Apple Notes or Mail, it does something really interesting. The screen tab presents the full screenshot, and that would include, the sidebars in Mail or Apple Notes, like you would expect, because you took a picture of the screen. But if you switch to the full page tab, you only get the specific note or mail message you were viewing when you took the shot. I think that's some brilliant work right there to separate it out like that. Now, I started digging into deeper into Apple apps, and I couldn't get long form in the Home app or the Stocks or Apple TV app, but it does work in Numbers and Pages and even Keynote. I couldn't believe how quickly it converted a 50-page Keynote deck into a PDF. I wasn't able to find any non-Apple apps that had the capability to do the PDF conversion of long form content, but I don't know definitively that they can't. I wrote to a development buddy of mine, and he believes that this feature is Apple only. I'm going to give you a bonus tip about markup that many of you may have figured out already, but most people I show it to have never noticed it was there. Let's take you say you take a screenshot to send to your friend, and you want to make sure they see the one thing in the screenshot you've been trying to explain to them. Most people use the marker or the crayon to furiously scribble around the thing they want me to see, and they send it on to me. But there are much more elegant ways to focus someone's attention, and the way to get there is hiding in plain sight. When you take a screenshot, the markup tools available are a pen, a highlighter, a crayon, and an eraser. Next is this funny looking pencil with diagonal lines on it. That funny pencil is actually a selection tool. So you can sort of draw around an annotation you've created, and it puts a tight selection ring around it and allows you to drag it around. There's also a straight edge, which pretends to be a ruler by having little marks on it, but you can't measure anything with it. But it is nice to have a straight edge for drawing. You can twist it with 2 fingers and draw nice straight lines. But none of that has to do with what I'm going to tell you about trying to draw people's attention. To the right of the colors you can choose to make your angry scribbles is a little plus button. If you tap that, you get several more tools. The tools I use all the time are the box, circle, and arrow, and sometimes the thought bubble if I'm feeling playful. But the arrow in particular is more useful than you might think. As soon as you select it, a long red arrow will just plop right in the middle of the screen. You can change the length and drag the endpoints around, of course, but notice that there's a green dot in the middle. You can drag that dot around and the arrow becomes an arced line instead of straight. That's super useful in getting the point of the arrow where you need it, but then making sure the line itself doesn't obscure something else important in the screenshot. With the arrow you just plopped down on screen still selected, you can change the color with one of the options at the bottom, but you'll notice another button on the far left side has appeared. It has a solid dark circle beneath a square. Tap that and you'll see options to change the arrow line to a plain line or a double-ended arrow line. And you can also change the line thickness from this menu. If you make rectangles and circles, this same button lets you make them filled shapes or change the stroke thickness. I'm going to confess right now, I never noticed this little menu button before. The plus button has even more features up its sleeve. You can add a text box to your signature, and I'm sorry, that's not right. I've been lonely here anyway. The plus button, there we go. Did I miss anything, Steve? Okay. A GIF of a cat in a toilet seat.
There have been a lot of toilet GIFs. I'm counting. I think this is number 3. You probably don't want to see the others.
That's the devil's toilet?
Apparently.
Uh-oh. Oh, good. You drop it in the screenshots? Yeah. Wait a minute. One of them came up twice. Why did John post the same one twice?
Did I?
Yeah, he did. He must really want me to click on that.
The first one he posted wasn't a GIF, even though it was intended to be.
Oh,
just a
okay.
still.
Save as a sausage samurai could attack.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. What did I just say? Thickness. I'm going to confess right now. Okay. I'm getting lots of clicks tonight. Click, 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 click. It must know that my interface must be failing. I must need a new one. Okay, here we go. The plus button has even more features up its sleeve. You can add a text box or your signature and also a magnifier. Adding a magnifier puts a circle on screen with the area inside the circle just slightly magnified. There's a blue dot on the circle when dragged in and out will change the diameter of the magnified area. But also notice there's a green dot on the top of the circle. If you rotate that green dot clockwise to the right, the image inside the circle increases in magnification. Isn't that better than your angry scribbles you were doing before? Now, remember earlier when I said that only iPad OS has the opacity slider? I was wrong about that. On iPhone, in addition to the tools I've described under the plus button, they've also included the opacity slider. Guess they just didn't have room for it on the main screen. I also figured out a problem the opacity slider solves. Annotations are unaffected by the change in opacity. So that means if you use the magnifier to draw focus to an area of the screenshot, you can really make it pop by sliding to the right to lower the opacity of the rest of the image. This is particularly dramatic if you were using dark mode when you took your screenshot. Now, remember when we were talking about how you could view multiple screenshots and markup at the same time? And I said that on an iPhone, it shows you dots to indicate multiple screenshots, but I didn't actually mention that the dots show up on iPad OS. I was careful to word it that way because on iPad OS, the markup tools cover up the dot where that area where the dots would be. But there's one more hidden gem in the markup toolbox on iPad OS. To the right of the plus button, there's a what? What does that mean? To the right of the plus sign. Oh, I see. Yes. To the right. I saved. Quit nagging me. To the right of the plus sign that reveals the arrows and other geometry. Go back. To the right of the plus sign that reveals the arrows and other geometry is a button with 3 dots inside it. When selected, it reveals a little toggle labeled Auto Minimize. If you turn on Auto Minimize, the entire palette of tools scoots off to the left, leaving a circle showing just the currently selected tool. You can now see the dots indicating the multiple screenshots. It's also nice to scoot the tools out of the way because they actually cover part of the screenshot image in their natural position. As I said up front, I love taking and annotating screenshots, so I really enjoyed discovering so many cool features in markup on iOS and iPad OS. Perhaps you knew some of these features, but if you're like me, some of them were an absolute revelation. I have to say, I had a lot of fun doing an article here on a topic probably close to 100% of the people listening would actually learn something. It's not my style to do that. I like to pick these obscure topics that the fewest number of people can enjoy. Anyway, I bet even David Roth learned something here. I had to say that because
Even
he's the one who
David.
he's the one who scribbles red on my screen on his screenshots.
If we could just get my dad to use this.
Well,
So-
there is markup on the Mac.
Yeah, he loves the hard copy highlighter.
Well, yeah, but that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
the Wall
he
Street
does
Journal
do
article.
screenshots.
We did teach him that, and he occasionally uses it.
He's pretty good about
He's
it.
pretty good. Yeah,
I want to see how flexible you are at learning new things when you're 84. Okay.
I'm totally flexible.
Actually, sorry, just spit some water out my nose there.
You okay, dear?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. We have a special treat.
Ooh. Special.
Here we
treat.
go. Some of the early birds got to a pre listen to this. Let me see this.
So, but at some point, I have a question, but maybe
I might actually mark pledge break in the. This one's so good, I might mark it in the.
yes,
as
it
a chapter.
Deserves a chapter mark. We're looking at you, Frank.
What was it you wanted?
I just noticed in your drafts there is a tiny tip that hasn't been posted.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
It's for next week. Thank
Got
you.
it.
I put it up there so I wouldn't lose it, but I have a note to remember it. All right, are you guys ready? Here we go. David Roth learned something here.
Hi. Okay, that's information, entertainment, and community. What's that worth to you?
Why, thanks for asking, Frank. Maybe I could give the audience some ideas. You learned about how to save your phone screen with a Diamond Dog tempered glass screen protector. And no, they are not a sponsor. And you learned some cool new tricks in iOS markup. And after this, you're going to hear about how to protect yourself and your loved ones during security bits. Do you think you'll learn, or were you entertained a dollar's worth? Maybe you could consider going to podfeed.com/Patreon and pledging said $1 a week to support the show. Now back to you, Frank.
Oh, thank you very much. You have a great day and hope to see you again soon.
That was awesome, Frank.
I love it.
We discovered something really odd. I told him, he gave me all the parts. I had to build it myself. He gave me this Muzak thing to put in the background, and when I looked at it in Get Info, it says, or in the preview, it says that it's copyrighted music. It's copyrighted, that it's the song Hallelujah being sung by Katie Lang.
Oh, so we
Did
might
that
get,
sound like
we
Katie Lang's?
Might get a pull down. Wait, that didn't.
No,
sound like
does that sound like
Hallelujah.
Katie Lang singing Hallelujah?
Wait, where did you get this notice?
So here, I'll show you a screenshot. When I look at it, when I do a Get Info, it's actually, let's see, maybe the Get Info does it too. Let's see. Yeah. So here's I'll give you this much of the screenshot. Put it in here. It says title Hallelujah.
Whoa.
That's not Katie Lang singing, right?
No, not even close. Unless it's embedded in there. That maybe that's weird.
The only thing I could think of was he said he does have that song, and I remember a long time ago discovering that the way the services figure out what song is playing is the exact length in bytes or bits. Excuse me, exactly how many bits it has. So you can get a song that thinks it's a different song because it happens to coincidentally be the exact same length.
Well, so if we get a pull down notice.
So I can tell you a spooky story is how I found out. My brother Kelly was a Buddhist, and he passed away. And before he passed away, he made a recording for his wife, telling her how much he loved her. And after he passed away, I looked at the recording in iTunes, and it said it was the Dalai Lama, and it was an audiobook by the Dalai Lama. So that's how I found out that can happen. It was a very interesting coincidence there.
Odd.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going right into security bits from here. And that's going to be an interesting musical difference. Let's see how that looks. And then I've got to pull in me and Bart. And I'll do the option T, my own personal security bits. There it is. All right. And then this one. And I think he forgot to stop his own. The Command T. What did I just do? Option T. Why is it not working? That's weird. There it worked. Okay. Llama Llama Ding Dong. Oh, you said.
Wait.
That sounds like Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah, that's what we use for that movie director.
Dagnabbit. Show my screen. Oh, you are showing my screen.
Yes.
So do you see the orange, and you see how the audio is hitting the top there?
Yep.
Bart does not believe me that he's peaking.
He is
on his own recording.
Occasionally peaking, yes.
But look at the blue one directly above it. Now that's orange. See how it's not?
Yep.
See that white line right there?
Maybe one period where you are, but for the most part, no.
No, not me. This is him on my recording. This is him on his recording. You see?
Yeah. So
see how it's the same waveform?
Oh, I
his
see.
Recording, he's peaking right there.
So which one are you using?
I'm going to use mine. It keeps happening, and I keep telling him that we got to figure it out, but we haven't spent the time to figure it out. So let's see. If I mute this one and I play, let's listen to this.
Probably goes.
And
which one did you mute? I can't tell.
I muted. You should see the mute on the left.
Yeah, but it's
so now I've muted the
mute or unmute.
When the M is orange, it's muted.
Can't.
So now you're gonna hear the worst one.
Oh yeah.
Those are both pretty
that's
bad.
Raspy.
Though. Let's see right here.
Viable analogy. As per usual, some follow up from.
It wasn't terrible. Let me listen to mine.
Viable analogy. As per usual, some follow up from.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with mine.
Yep, agreed.
We keep saying we're gonna spend. Oops. We keep saying we're gonna figure it out, and we never take the time to do it. Okay, so I need this actually to be down here. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna split both of these. Split. I don't know why it doesn't split both of them. It should. Get rid of that one, and take both these. What is that guy behind a tree?
Can't
Is that a
quite
stalker?
Tell. No peeking, I'm guessing.
Oh.
But it's hard to tell with Jason. It comes up.
Jason, I would like you to document your workflow.
Oh, okay.
How you do this so quickly?
Yeah. I just played
Otis?
the GIF. It is a no peeking GIF.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much. You have a great day and hope to see you again soon.
Oh, well, that's not very good if I mute the ambiance.
And hope to see you again soon.
Well, it's that time of the week. Need a little more rest.
Yeah. Gotta let the music settle in. Impact.
A little heartbeat there. Well, it's that time of the week again. It is time for Security Bits with Bart Bush Shots. Looks like we've got some deep dives this week, huh?
Yeah, they're called deep dives because they're.
That's the non-harsh one.
Yeah, it's a little harsh though, wasn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
The important thing is between now and then that you stay patched so you stay secure.
Yeah. Still a little much. All right. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. That's me. Oh, you know what? What is the matter with you people?
What?
I didn't do a chapter mark for security bits. I did one for Pledge Break in case Frank wanted to play it for his friends.
Kevin, let's check the last chapter
Kevin?
mark reminder. I'm scrolling back. Okay, 5:40. Well, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't count.
Kevin fell down on the job.
Hey,
it is hard to get. He had a hard day.
I'm going to
today.
stand in front of my wingman and protect him from your slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
What?
Nothing. Little Shakespeare.
We're your friends, Frank.
Kevin does no wrong. I distracted him when he was going to hit the reminder.
Oh, is that what it was? So it's your fault.
So deflect him over to me.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought nothing's your fault.
Well, there's an occasion when it is.
It was funny today when Steve's Mac did the update, and he said he didn't tell it to update, and he said he didn't have software update on.
Well, I did tell it to restart, and there may have been a update in the process, but that was not my goal. My goal was to restart.
The original first rule: never leave your wingman.
Yes.
Nice.
And check your 6.
All right, I can mute Steve. Unfortunately. All right, here we go. Well, that is going to wind us up for this week. Don't forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions, or your audio reviews. We have one coming up next week from Andrew Darlow, which is super fun. Some tiny tips. Anyway, you can do that by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. You can follow me on Twitter @podfeet. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. Remember how Frank suggested that you become a patron? Well, he didn't suggest it, but he set me up to suggest it to you. You do that by going to podfeet.com/Patreon. Want to give a one-time donation? Podfeet.com/PayPal. Want to join our Slack community like Vec did this week for the first time? That's podfeet.com/Slack. And if you want to join our Facebook community, that's at podfeet.com/Facebook. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to what? Podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. See if I can get to. Are you taking damned it all? What? Oh, save. Yes. Okay. NosillaCast outro. Put it right there. Listen to it. Castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Okay.
Mark says, NosillaCast is the only way he knows what day of the week it is.
Wait, when did Mark come in?
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, he came in right after the show started. Well, a few minutes after.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, I think I've told this joke before, but there's somebody wrote into DTNS, and they started to complain that some show didn't come out that Tom's supposed to have done, and then they realized it wasn't a weekday anymore; it was a weekend, and so the guy referred to the day as Blur's Day. I think we can all get that.
That's a good one. Blur's Day might stick.
Really?
Blinky blink.
Oh,
hold on. Let's see that again.
Okay, but we're gonna do 2 back to back in case somebody missed it last week.
Blinky blink.
Blinky blink.
I'm sorry. Maybe that's not as cute to everybody else as it does.
That was Forbes doing
his
impression of Blinky Blink.
I haven't sent that to Bart. I really should.
Oh, I think he would appreciate it.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, it's Friday. That's the Friday girl, isn't it?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Ian, when did Ian come in? Thank you, Ian. We think he's adorable. Cute as. Yay. Well, we enjoy him. We've been doing a lot of
sister.
Oh yeah. We've been doing a lot of family Zooms to keep Steve's parents entertained because they're just locked up in a little 2-bedroom apartment and losing their ever-loving minds. And So Forb gets his own camera, but we had to learn real quickly to mute him because he takes over the conversation. But it's hilarious.
Kind of
'cause
like
we're having
Ellison
this-
does for me.
Yes. Yeah, exactly like that. But anyway, we were having a lot of fun. We were all talking everything, and then Forbes started mooning the cameras.
No, he kept his pants on.
He did. He did. Luckily nobody's told him yet the way a
Yeah,
moon is
do
actually
not mention
supposed
that.
to be.
Chat room, do not mention anything.
I got a great screenshot of the whole family laughing as Forbes is doing this, doing the
I wonder
moon
where he
there.
learned that because he was really good at it. How he kind of really stuck it way out and he was
Yeah.
smiling, looking behind his shoulder. It was really weird.
Uh-oh, that one's
3-year-old.
blurred out. I don't want to unblur that one.
Yeah.
What's
Thank-
his email
thank you,
address?
Jess.
John's going to tell him. Oh, and then yesterday we had a wine tasting with our financial advisor, and Lindsay and Nolan were on the call too. It was really cool. They sent us wine. And Forbes came in and he started sticking his tongue out at me and doing all these things. He was on screen. And then his mom, my daughter, Lindsay, texted me and said, yeah, he wants to moon you right now. And I'm not
I didn't
letting
know
him.
that.
Oh, yeah. You
I didn't know that.
We decided maybe not that.
Good.
So,
Well, at least there's
All
some
right.
control there.
yeah, a little bit. All right. I am ready. So chapter count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is including pledge break.
Yes, I have 4 without pledge break. So we're synced.
Okay, sounds good. And I noticed I didn't capitalize pages in that article. Keep it published. Yes, send a blog. There we go. All right, I am ready to export. And I think we can get out of class 4 minutes early today if you want. Mooning with Forbes, new
I
podcast.
think they earned it after last week.
I think so. Yeah, you guys had a lot of extra work last week. I was exhausted after that show. All right. Should we say goodbye to everybody?
I think we shall.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Rose. Oh, knocked into my microphone. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Gracie.